brace yourself for what you're about to hear, because what happened during the Bahrain test was not random, not accidental, and definitely not meaningless. Lewis Hamilton, the man many rush to label as finished, past his prime, or out of sync with modern Formula One, has just sent a silent shockwave through the entire paddock. No press conference, no bold quotes, no dramatic radio messages, just one quiet, calculated move that revealed something much bigger. While teams scrambled to understand the chaos of Formula One's 2026 regulations, Hamilton was already reading between the lines. What most people dismissed as a small detail during a routine practice start in Bahrain was, in reality, a glimpse into the future of this sport, because in this new era, with engines split between electric and combustion power, no MGU-H to hide mistakes, and race starts turning into pure survival, championships won't be decided by raw speed alone, they'll be decided by who understands the system first, and Lewis Hamilton understands systems better than anyone in Formula One history. What you're about to hear isn't speculation, it's not hype, it's a story about timing, experience, and a seven-time world champion quietly positioning himself for one last unforgettable strike. The paddock didn't see it coming, but Hamilton did, and that may change everything about the 2026 season. Formula One in 2026 is not evolution, it's disruption. The FIA didn't just tweak the rules, rip the heart out of the hybrid era and set the grid on fire. Engines are now split straight down the middle, 50% electric, 50% combustion, no safety net, no MGU-H, to smooth out turbo lag, no hidden system to correct mistakes. What does that mean in real terms? It means the race start, once a controlled, rehearsed procedure, has become absolute warfare. Drivers now need longer to prepare the car for launch. Rev windows are narrower. Torque delivery is unpredictable. One fraction of a second too early or too late, and the car stumbles. Anti-stall kicks in. Wheels spin, positions vanish instantly. This is no longer about reaction time alone. It's about system mastery, and in previous seasons, a bad start cost you a few metres. In 2026, it can cost you half the grid before turn one. And here's the brutal truth. Most teams arrived in Bahrain still trying to understand the basics. Engineers arguing over procedures, drivers confused about modes, everyone reacting instead of anticipating. The sport has entered a phase where confusion is normal and mistakes are guaranteed. But history shows us something very clear. When Formula One becomes chaotic, the smartest minds rise to the top. And Lewis Hamilton has made an entire career out of surviving and dominating moments like this. While most drivers were still trying to survive the learning curve, Lewis Hamilton was already asking a different question. Not, how do I launch the car? But what happens if I push this system beyond what everyone thinks is normal? During a routine practice start in Bahrain, Hamilton did something that looked insignificant to casual observers. He pulled up, engaged the procedure, and kept the engine revving, not for a few seconds, not for the usual window, 22 seconds. In the middle of a paddock obsessed with efficiency and timing, Hamilton deliberately stretched the process long enough for cameras to notice, long enough for engineers to raise eyebrows, long enough to test something deeper than a simple start. This wasn't hesitation, this wasn't confusion, this was exploration. Hamilton was probing the limits of the new hybrid architecture, how the power builds, how the torque stabilizes, how the car behaves when held in that narrow, dangerous pre-launch zone longer than intended. He was testing stress points, mapping reactions, gathering information others didn't even know they needed. While normal drivers were focused on executing the procedure correctly, Hamilton was already dissecting it, because champions don't wait for problems to appear, they go looking for them first. That moment wasn't about Bahrain, it wasn't about practice, it was about understanding how race starts will decide titles in 2026 and how to control them before anyone else even realises they've lost the advantage. While the paddock argued, Ferrari stayed quiet, and that silence may be the most dangerous sound in Formula One. Beneath the surface of the Bahrain tests, subtle signs began to emerge, signs that Ferrari may have cracked something the rest of the grid hasn't. Observers noticed that the SF26 appeared capable of launching in higher gears than its rivals, with smoother torque delivery and less hesitation in those critical first moments. That detail matters more than most fans realise. In a world without the MGU-H, turbo response defines everything AC. Smaller, faster spooling turbo changes the entire start sequence, less waiting, less artificial preparation, more immediate controllable power. And Ferrari's car seems to behave differently, calmer, more predictable, more confident. This isn't luck, this is concept. And when you combine that concept with Lewis Hamilton's obsessive understanding of race starts, something powerful begins to form. Ferrari didn't just sign a driver, they paired their engineering solution with the one man capable of extracting its full potential under pressure. Hamilton doesn't need explanations shouted over the radio, he feels patterns before data confirms them. He senses mechanical behaviour before simulations catch up. That's how he won titles when others had similar machinery. Ferrari's advantage may not show up on timing screens, it shows up where championships are decided, in moments of chaos, when preparation beats raw speed. And in 2026, the start line is exactly where that battle will be fought. Now the picture becomes clear. Those 22 seconds in Bahrain were not about show. They were not about cameras. They were not about misleading rivals. They were about confirmation. Lewis Hamilton wasn't guessing. He was validating a theory about how the 2026 cars behave when pushed beyond the comfort zone, about how energy deployment stabilizes, about how the Ferrari system responds when held under pressure longer than designed. In other words, Hamilton was performing a final stress test. In this new Formula One, starts won't reward aggression alone. They'll reward composure, understanding and control over unstable systems. The driver who knows exactly how long to hold, when to release and how to balance the hybrid power will gain an instant advantage, not by meters but by positions. Hamilton saw that future coming. That single moment in Bahrain showed something most people missed. He isn't reacting to 2026, he's already operating within it. While others are still adapting their driving style, Lewis is shaping his around the rules themselves. And that's the difference between a contender and a champion. When the lights go out next season, chaos will follow, cars will stumble, procedures will fail, confidence will crack, but the driver who already tested the limits, quietly, deliberately, will be ready. And Lewis Hamilton has always thrived when others hesitate. As Hamilton tested limits, the rest of the paddock revealed something else. Fear. Drivers began voicing concerns almost immediately, not about speed, about starts, about anti-stall systems, about unpredictable torque, about losing 5, 6, even 7 positions before the first corner. When professionals start talking like that, it tells you everything you need to know. Uncertainty has entered the grid. Some describe 2026 starts as dangerous. Others compared them to junior categories where chaos is expected, not controlled. Teams push for changes, delays, minimum timing rules, anything to reduce the risk. But here's the key point. When drivers ask for protection, it means they don't feel in control. Hamilton doesn't ask for protection. He prepares for reality. This is where experience becomes a weapon. Lewis has lived through regulation resets before. He's seen dominant teams fall apart. He's watched rivals panic when systems change overnight. And every time Formula One enters uncharted territory, the same pattern repeats. Those who fear the unknown react. Those who understand it take advantage. The fact that Ferrari opposed changes to the start procedure tells a story of confidence, and Hamilton aligning with that confidence tells another. They don't want the rules softened because they believe they're ready. When a grid is nervous, opportunities appear. When starts decide races, margins decide titles, and the calmest man in the storm is often the one who walks away with the trophy. Formula One doesn't reward youth when the rules are stable. It rewards intelligence when the rules are broken, and 2026 is a broken system waiting to be mastered. This season won't be decided by who adapts the fastest in one lap. It will be decided by who understands complexity under pressure, who can manage unstable systems, unpredictable starts, and chaotic race dynamics across an entire championship. That is Lewis Hamilton's natural habitat. He has won titles in high downforce eras, low downforce eras, engine revolutions, hybrid revolutions, and political revolutions inside the sport. every time Formula One resets, Hamilton doesn't panic, he recalibrates. While younger drivers rely on instinct and aggression, 2026 demands restraint, timing and situational awareness. The margin between hero and zero at the start line will be brutal. One wrong launch can destroy a race. One perfect one can define a weekend. Hamilton doesn't need to gamble. He needs consistency, and consistency is exactly what the Ferrari-Hamilton pairing is quietly building. Not flashy headlines, not test day lap records, but repeatable processes, understanding control. This is why Bahrain mattered. It wasn't about pace, it was about preparation. If starts become the great equaliser of 2026, then experience becomes the ultimate advantage. And no one on the grid reads evolving systems better than Lewis Hamilton. This isn't a farewell tour. This is alignment, and when alignment happens at the right moment in Formula One, history, championships follow. So here's the truth that many aren't ready to hear. Lewis Hamilton is not chasing the past, he's preparing for the future. What we witnessed in Bahrain wasn't a coincidence, a stunt, or a misunderstanding. It was a signal, a quiet one, from a driver who has mastered this sport every time it tried to reinvent itself. While others fear the chaos of 2026, Hamilton is already shaping his advantage within it. This season won't reward the loudest voice or the youngest reflexes. It will reward clarity, control, and experience under pressure. And that is exactly where Lewis Hamilton has built his legacy. If Ferrari's concept is right, if race starts become the defining battlefield, if chaos decides championships, then 2026 may become the year no one expected except one man. The year Lewis Hamilton reminds Formula One why greatness doesn't fade. It adapts. Now it's your turn. Are you ready to see Hamilton rewrite history one last time? Do you believe this silent move in Bahrain was the beginning of something bigger? Share this story with every Hamilton fan who still believes. Leave your comment and stay ready, because the next era of Formula One may already be unfolding.